So this is Jordan Gray from Half Lit and DopelivenTV.
Hey, this your boy Don Ritchie representing the Midwest 219 Stand Up.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's Lamar Tate.
This is your girl, Monifa.
Hey, what up? It's your man, Dave Hollister from Blackstreet.
You know what this is right here. This Trigger Trench in the building.
What's up? This is your boy, Jason Weaver. And whenever I'm back home in Shy, I'm checking out Dope Living TV.
Hey, it's your girl, Adina Howard, and you're watching Dope Living TV, live with Greg Gray and Vicar.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy Greg Gray. This is Dope Living TV Live. Let me start off by saying the views that are expressed on this Dope Living TV Live are not necessarily the views of Dope Living TV or its affiliates. I said fast, Mo. I did it fast, Mo.
Yeah, it's real fast. Let's get on
What?
with
What? Did it fast, bro. Hey, man, welcome to the show, everybody. You know, we got a really good show today. You know, we love to tell stories here on the show. I don't mean lies, okay? You know, a long time ago, we used to say, "Oh, you told a story." We love to tell stories. We love to tell the journey. We love to see where people came from to get to. You know what I'm saying?
Right, the journey.
You know. And see, Mo over there representing. We don't want that. Mo over there representing. Because we are. I ain't said it in a long time, Mo. I got to bring it back. Okay, we are recipients.
All right.
The National Black Radio Hall of Fame, man. That's what we in, man. We are doing it, all right? But we humbly accept that.
Yes,
because we got a lot of stuff to do. This is just one part of our journey. One part of our journey. Look, I'm telling you, Mo.
Feather on the bird.
It's just a small step, okay? But you know what, man? Again, let's pray for those people in California, man. Those people that lost their homes. I'm hearing a lot of stories. You know, my niece is out there. My publicist, Katina Fields, shout out. She's out there.
Katina, man. She's not in there, is she? Katina not in there, is she?
Well, I'll put it like this. She's safe. She got away. You know, she listened when they said,
you got to tell us too many times. One time's enough.
Time to break out. She listened, all right? So shout out to her. Shout out to my my niece. Everybody's good, okay? Hey, man, you know, Gina's not going to be on today.
Chris not feeling good.
Chris not feeling well, okay? But I guess somebody's going to sit in for him, man. This guy, I've been knowing this guy for a while. He used to be down with the 925 joints, you know. But let my man Steve Edwards. What's going on, Steve?
What's going on, Greg? What's going on, Mo?
What's happening, man?
Yeah.
All right, I want to say congratulations for that honor of y'all. Definitely, it's a long time coming.
Yeah. It's a long time coming, but we got it, man. Okay, but you know, it ain't about us today, man. Look, our guest today, man, has done so much, man. Her career has spanned a number of years, and she's done some great work. Great work. I'm gonna say it like that, all right? And she's doing even more now. So she's been in a number of movies, and she's acted. She has been acting with some major stars, actually, and she's one herself, all right? She was in a movie with Bokeem Woodbine, you know, called Up. You know, most memorable movie. She was Clark Bentancourt on what? Mo Better Blues.
Mo Better.
Right? Mo Better. But she's doing a lot of stuff right now, man. She's been doing a podcast, dude. Probably, you know, we might learn something from her today. You never know, okay? But she's blessed. And Mo, did you know, Steve, she's from Chicago?
From the Chi?
Oh, okay.
From the Chi. Midwest represent.
From the middle.
Midwest represent. Man, look, I'm not going to stagnate this. everybody, like I said, she's an actress. She's a entrepreneur. She's an artist. She's a singer. She does all. And everybody say hello to Miss Cynda Williams. What's going on, Cynda?
Hello, how you guys doing?
How you
Hey, what's
doing,
going on?
Cynda?
Very, very well. Moby, Stephen, of course, Greg. It's so nice to meet you and your audience. I really appreciate you having me on. And congratulations on your award.
Thank you. Thank
It's been a
you.
long time.
Appreciate that. But that's okay. But it ain't about us, like I said. It's about Miss Cynda Williams. All right. Number one, thank you for coming to the show, giving us the time to hang out with us and share your journey with us. It's always important for us on this show that we get the feedback from our guests, because everybody goes through something to get to something else. All right.
Short version of the story. So my parents both lived in Lexington.
That's it.
Yeah, and we were in and they both were both university. I mean, school because marrying him was against the law. And, and having me was definitely
Great.
It's hard. All right.
well, I didn't do it here, that's for sure. Because
even to get out though,
I never even considered that. It wasn't even in my thought processes that I wasn't going to go to New York. Especially when I started going, hi Bella, I started going to casting directors when I was in college. I was a theater major at Ball State. I ended up going there. And I started going to auditions, and all the casting directors told me, you'll never work here. You will not work in Chicago. You don't fit into this market. You don't look black enough. You're not white. You don't speak Spanish. So nobody knows where you are. You got to leave.
Yeah.
No lane for you.
No lane. At that time, there was no lane.
Yeah, make your own
there wasn't
lane.
no cute little light-skinned girls in commercials, unless they were Hispanic. There just wasn't anybody looking like me in this region. So everybody told me, you're really good, but you need to get the heck up out of here if you want to work. So that was my plan. I decided by my sophomore year in college, I was going to move to New York City. I didn't want to move to LA. I'd been both places, and I'm more of a city girl, obviously, coming from Chicago. And I preferred the lifestyle of New York, and I wanted to do Broadway because that's what I thought I was going to do. I had no desire nor intention to do movies. I didn't watch movies hardly. I was movie illiterate because I was always acting myself. I was always singing. I was always acting. I was always writing my own stuff.
Yeah.
You know, if I knew any music, it was the music my uncle introduced me to. I had very eclectic taste, listened to all different kind of styles, but I was singing gospel. But I was singing gospel like no other gospel singer. And then sing like gospel singers. I sound like a jazz singer singing gospel.
Yeah,
so, there were people that hated my guts. They thought it was terrible. They hated my voice. And there were a few that could get past the runs and appreciate me for who I was. But musical theater was more my lane. And that's what I ended up doing. And so moved to New York City thinking I'm going to be on Broadway. I was ready. I knew how to dance, sing, act. And I was working like everybody does in restaurants. And all these people came to me and they were like, "You going to audition for Spike Lee's new movie?" And I'm like, "No, why not?" Because I don't know nothing about acting in nobody's movies. I'm a stage actress.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a stage actress. That's what I do. I'm a Broadway singer. I'm gonna do Broadway. And they're like, "Oh, that don't make no sense. You'd be perfect for this role." And after about 7 different people that had no connection said this to me, I was like, well, maybe this is God. And so they gave me the backstage, which had all the audition information. And I just said, I told my boss, they knew what I did. I said, I'm going to go try to audition. They're like, okay. And so I went down. I went down to, down in Soho, I think it was. It wasn't at 40 Acres at this point. I don't think we were auditioning at 40 Acres. We were in Manhattan. And I went there to the casting office. And long story short, ended up sitting there for hours. I was sitting. I got there at 8 o'clock in the morning because that's what time they said they would be there. And it happened to be a casting office, meaning there were multiple casting directors there in the round. And I was sitting in the middle on this round couch and I leaning up against this thing and reading a book for hours and waiting. And all these different casting directors were coming out and they're like, "Who are you? And who are you here for?" And I'm like, "I'm here to see Robbie Reed for a Love Supreme," because that's what it was called at the time. And whatever. And so they're like, "Are you okay? Are you need anything?" No, I got my water bottle. I got, I got my book. I'm cool. So when Robbie came in, I guess she got like a bunch of different casting directors was like, "Give that girl a shot. Give her a shot."
And Robbie at that time, Robbie was she was it.
Not yet.
No.
This was like the beginning for Robbie. This was the beginning for Robbie. This is just like so many people that were involved with this project. None of us were much of anything yet. Denzel was, Denzel was, Wesley was a little bit, Spike Lee was, but everybody else involved was just kind of really getting their feet in there. Giancarlo was Broadway. Wesley was Broadway,
Bill, well, you helped her. You helped her become who she is when she saw it in you.
Well, thank you. I don't know if she sees it that way, but but she's cool. We cool. But anyway, long story short, she's like, "Come on in, audition." That was my first of 6 auditions over 6 weeks. And I got that movie. So that began a completely different lifestyle and a different path that I had intended and loved it. I love doing film. And it opened up a lot of doors. I had a lot of roadblocks. Now I can talk a little bit more openly about this stuff because of all the changes in the business. But all the horror stories are true. And I was a little church girl from Muncie, Indiana, and I was not trying to do what they wanted you to do. So that
you can say it on here.
Too much progress for me.
Yeah, whatever you want on here.
It's understandable.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a basher. I don't like talking about folks and bad things that the people that are that people know, that are people's heroes. Yeah. But I had a lot of bad experience with some very well-known people, and it stopped my career from
because of your looks,
what it could be.
Was it because of your looks? Because you're grown now.
It was that, and it was my anatomy. You know, I'm a woman, and
was it what your actions wouldn't be, things you wouldn't do?
Yes, things I would not do.
Wow.
Things I would not do, and that was the expectation. If you're going to be involved here, you got to do that, or you got to do this. And you know, I had an actual director. I had a director say to me once, you know, you're a great actress. You're so good. But this other actor who might be mediocre is a freak. I'll take a freak.
Wow.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Yeah. And I appreciated that honesty. I didn't understand why I needed to go into the office to hear this information. You could have just told my agent.
He thought you were going to turn the freak light on. That's what that was.
Yeah. He really did. He really did. Like on air.
I'm guessing that's probably right, you know. And but then I also had other things, you know. In the very beginning, I was made some offers, you know, by some men in suits. You know, I was going to be the next big star, or the biggest female star in the world. I was going to have more money than anyone else. I was going to have this, have that, have this and that. All I have to do is give them total control of my life. That's all I had to do. Let them make all my decisions. Let them choose my clothes. Let them choose my man. Let them choose my friends. Let them choose my movies. Let them choose. All I had to do was give them a total control of my life, and they would make me the biggest female star in the world.
Wow.
And I was very young and naive, and I didn't understand what I was doing when I said no and laughing. I was like, no, I would never do that. I didn't know that who I was talking to. I didn't understand that I was talking to people that would then put me on a list, a no work list, you know.
Can blackball you.
Because you were not willing to be their puppet.
Yes. I just wasn't doing it. But I was just doing that out of authenticity, you know. I didn't know anything about the business. If I had known, I don't think I would have changed my mind, because it just doesn't jive with my character, who I am. But I was completely innocent. I was real. And then they were like, are you sure? Are you sure? Because we were at a lunch in another country, and we were having this lunch, and they were white men in suits. And they gave me the offer, and I was like, no. No, but I love to work with you guys, but I control what I do. I get to, because they didn't want me. By then I had done my second movie, One False Move, and they didn't want me to do any more independent films because they had no control in independent films. So they were like, you can't do any more independent films. You have to do only the films we give you. They're going to be big. You're going to be a big star. You're going to be this, that, and the other. La da da dee 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 dee. But, you know, we'll make all the choices, and you'll follow our rules, and you will be the richest, most famous woman in this.
Let me interject for a second, because we see, as an audience, we see, you know, that actress, that actor, and we think everything is golden. You know, we think it's all gravy. All right. And this is why we love to do, like I said, shows like this, so that we can tell everybody, you know, hey, yes, I made it to that level, but this is the crap I had to go through. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know, everybody, we are talking, by the way, to Miss Cynda Williams. She got a lot more than what I said at the beginning. Okay, it's a lot of stuff that goes in. Like I said, it's a journey. All right, you know, everything's not going to be given to us right off the bat. We got to go through some things. So, you know, she's telling us her story, and it's rare too, Cynda, when we just sit back and listen. We have to always control. But this is Mo, tell her, man, this is beautiful. We'd love to hear the story.
Yeah.
We love to hear the story.
It is. I mean, we got some stories. Me and this dude right here have been kicking it for over 50 years, you know. So in this business and other business, where we started out at and where we're at right now is day and night. I mean, literally. So I bet you've seen a lot of people in the business take that bait and roll.
Well, you know, I could only assume. I was never the party girl. I was Yes, y'all and everybody else got to see my breasts, okay? But I was really a church girl. I really was. As a matter of fact, I asked permission when I found out there was nudity. I called my grandfather, who was my pastor, and asked him, because I didn't know. When she told me there was nudity, I was like, I'm a virgin, by the way. I ain't nobody ever seen this body, ever. No man, okay? And you gonna tell me, and like I said, I wasn't a moviegoer, so I really wasn't used to the thought of the big screen.
Right.
It really didn't even, until I was sitting there looking at my breasts swaying in the air, I did not think about
The world.
seeing that.
I'm over here embarrassed, man. I mean,
it's on a 100-foot screen, right?
Yes, it's insane to see that.
I am so sorry. I loved it as a young gentleman. It was one of my favorite parts of the movie. And I am sorry to say this, but we have to be honest.
we wasn't even gonna bring that stuff up either.
But I mean,
no, but it's real. That's one thing that I am. I'm real. For sure. And when I talked to my grandfather about it on the phone, because I called him, she let me use her phone, and he said, well, what is your skill set? What do you do? I said, I'm an actress and a singer and a dancer. He goes, and is that what this is? Is it gratuitous? I said, ask her, is it gratuitous? I didn't even know what that shit meant. Excuse my language. and she said,
we got it out of her now. She don't know what that shit means. We can cuss now, y'all. Let's go.
Yeah, and she was like, that just means it's for nothing. She goes, no, it's very important to the movie. It's a part of the storytelling. And so I told him that. He was like, then I don't understand the question. This is what you do. This is the part of it. So I was like, okay, I'm auditioning. I just really didn't know what I was getting myself into. It was insane.
You had to do that while you auditioned?
No. It wasn't until we were shooting it, but I went through a whole lot of stuff. Let's just put it this way. I became an expert at that. You know what I mean? I became the expert at that. And in other movies, when I had to do it, I was usually the one choreographing the scene to make other actors feel comfortable, especially the men, because at that point, there weren't a whole lot of love scenes with Black couples. That wasn't a thing.
That's true.
And so men, like when I worked with Bokeem Woodbine on Caught Up, that baby boy was terrified. You know what I mean? He was so scared. And I dealt with that multiple times because in the beginning, when you first starting out, unless you get really lucky really fast, you're going to do the same kind of stuff. You know what I mean? I was lucky with a few things, but I was the pretty naked ingenue in a few movies. And so since there were love scenes, I often ended up being the one that was coaching the other person through it, because that first movie got me prepped. It got me ready to know what to do, how to do it, all the things not to do. I learned on that movie. And it was.
So let me ask you though, Cynda. Because we've had a bunch. We have a lot of actors on here, a lot of directors and producers, and we never get to really ask the question. And I don't want to harp on the nudity stuff, okay? But how does that? You don't really know this person. I know you get to know the person, okay? But as you said, number one, you're a virgin, and number two, nobody's seen you. But you got thrust into that atmosphere. I mean, was it uncomfortable the first time, or did you just?
Well, I'm gonna tell you, it was a very uncomfortable thing. The very first scene I shot in a movie in my life was the balcony scene with Wesley.
Oh wow!
The very first scene I've ever shot in my life, and it was day for night, which means it was supposed to be night outside, but we were shooting it during the day. There were men across the street on the building working, construction workers, hooping it up. We had an all-man crew.
Wow.
No females on the set but me, in a very uncomfortable scene that a lot of people that watched the movie did not understand was supposed to be Denzel's imagination about what happened. It wasn't supposed to be what happened. It was supposed to be Denzel's imagination about what happened. So it was supposed to be over the top and big and loud and over the top because it's his imagination, but that wasn't clear enough in the film. So people just assumed that that's what happened. But that was not supposed to be what happened. That was supposed to be his imagination about what probably happened.
Just a thought.
Exactly. Because if you remember in the movie, he finds out we were together and then it flashes to his face and then it flashes to the scene. It's his imagination.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is the first scene I'm shooting. It's supposed to be over the top because it's his imagination. Right. So that was a really fast way of getting me into the position of learning very quickly how to protect myself in those circumstances, how to be in control of my part of it, because I wasn't in that first scene. It was difficult. And honestly, that whole movie, I was such a baby. I think I was 23. Like I said, I'm right from the church to the draws. And I just, I didn't know anything about what I was doing, but what it was for me was a lesson. I learned very quickly. It doesn't take me long to figure out how to do stuff. And I learned very quickly, and the stuff that happened in that never happened again.
Never happened again. There you go. I mean, you got to learn. You don't know right off the bat. I mean, especially if you're trying in this entertainment game, you're trying to
especially back in those days, because not that many people had done it. I mean, since then, I've been able to coach other people on these things. Not just men, I mean females, but males also. I've been able to coach them on how to do it. So the real question you were asking is, how you do that? How do you, and for me, I don't know how I did on that film, to be honest with you, because there was so many horrible things going on at the same time. I can't even talk about it. So I'm a freaking great actress. Let's just put it that way.
You are a good actress.
Yes.
No, you don't even know how good an actress I am. Okay. But you have no idea. I am very, very good. But I learned, and what I do, this is what I would do when I would do love scenes. And I'm way past love scene age, fortunately.
No, you're not.
Yeah, unless you gonna pay me tons of dollars and it's Academy Award material, I'm not showing nobody nothing no more. Those days are over. Okay. I'm trying to get people to look at my face and listen to my words. I'm tired of them looking at my boobs. That will never go away as long as I'm alive, I'm sure, and until I'm like in my grave, because I'm gonna be fine till then. But
you're gonna be fine after that.
No, I'll be fine. But no.
Stupid. But stupid, John.
What I do when I do those scenes, or when I did those scenes, is I imagine that whoever the person is, if it's a love scene, I imagine that they are the person that I'm in love with. Mm-hmm. I see my person, I see my person in them. That's where I let the feelings that I have for my person, I put into the scene. And
wait a minute. So you trying to tell me that when you did the love scene with old ugly ass Bokeem,
you had the picture he was somebody else.
Oh, damn. That's why
I will say this about Bokeem. See, for me, certain people are different. Me, I have never been one to really get caught up in looks. I have always been one to get caught up in brains and personalities. I get emotionally attached to folks. When I meet a person, I literally do not know what they look like for quite a few times until we actually have I decide I'm interested in getting to know a person, because all I see are eyes. Okay. That's all I see. When I first met, people get mad at me because I don't remember them. You don't remember me? No, I don't, but I remember your eyes. You know, I remember your voice. I've never been one, you know, you can look at the men that I've publicly been with. They ain't cute, but they were freaking brilliant. They were, there was an emotional connection, you know, they were all brilliant. Every man I've ever had in my life has been brilliant. I am attracted to that first, emotional connection second. So I thought Bokeem was absolutely beautiful.
I was joking with the book. I met
Sweet.
book.
I
I met
know.
him. I met
I
him.
was
He's
joking too. I
the
just watched
sweetest person.
Jason Lyrics, and so I was just thinking about that Bokeem from Jason Lyric, and I
But
didn't want that.
he
I
was the
didn't want that
sweetest
Bokeem.
kid, man. He's a lot younger than me. And
Wow.
he was so sweet. And he was nothing like the characters that he plays. Nothing.
Yeah.
He's a suburban boy, plays rock and roll. You know, that was who he was. He was just a nice kid and so scared and so sweet. And I loved working with him. And it was very easy because I was running that show. I was like, okay, now you do this and now you do that and do this and do that. And then we can do this. And it was cool. It was a beautiful, beautiful set, very safe set, respectful. You know, I loved it. But when I'm acting in any circumstance, you know, I can't relate to most of the characters I've played because they're so different than who I am. I'm nothing like most of the characters I've played. But there's something in me that can relate to something about them. You know, like for instance, one time I played a strawberry crackhead. You know, I played a crackhead and it was a horrible character. She was a horrible, horrible person.
What movie was that?
That was a movie, Frankie D. It was called Frankie D.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know this.
Frankie D and I did it with what's his name? He was in Different Strokes.
Todd Bridges.
Todd Bridges. I did it. His brother was a producer on it, who I love. He's great. And we did this movie, and I can't think of her name. The woman that played my mother, she's become huge again. I'm forgetting everybody's name, but she's a great actress that just got some Emmys last year. She's doing super well. When she played a horrible Cheryl, yeah, Shirley Ralph. She played my mother, and she was a drunk, and I was a crackhead, and I had these two children that we were completely abusing by neglecting them. And this character, Todd Bridges' character, took them under his wing, and it was a beautiful movie, but I was a horrible character. Oh, wow. I'm not an addictive person, you know. I don't have any way to relate to that, obviously. But there was a time I liked me way too much pizza. You know what I'm saying? There's something I can find in my life that I can use to find, in that case, an addiction to something. You know, what does that feel like? That I really crave this something or for me, bad relationship. From one to the next. You know what I'm saying? I had an addiction to love, to romantic love. I had an addiction to being with somebody, you know? So I will use that kind of stuff in those characters where I'm supposed to be addicted. So there's always something that you can find in the characters that you play. You can find something from your life or even someone close to you, their life, to bring it into your performance, to make it authentic.
It's kind of interesting though, that, you know, how you flowing with this story. And she has given us a step-by-step of what happened. And that's, we don't get the step. We get a lot of stuff, but we don't get those step-by-steps.
And we usually get the now instead of the step from what happened now. So what is going on now, Cynda?
Well, oh my. So when my daughter came of school age, I had to make a decision. You know, she was not expected. Her dad and I were not in love. I didn't think I could have kids. And then, bang, boom, I'm pregnant. And he's old fashioned and a lot older than me. And so we ended up getting married when we shouldn't have. But I decided, you know, once my daughter was 5, we were still in LA at that point. And because I moved from New York within 2 years, and then I was in LA for the most of my adult life. And her dad, I met there. He was a producer on a movie that I did. And we got busy one night, and then we got pregnant.
Got busy.
Got busy and got pregnant. That lust. Woo. But anyway, I love my daughter. She's my person. That's my girl. That's my heart. I was talking to a friend of mine earlier about, I am really at peace with a lot of things. I look at the world from a spiritual point of view. Yeah. I know despite everything that's going on in the world, God got us because there's a plan. I know that. The only person I have an attachment to is my daughter. So when things happen with her that hurt me, because I love her so much, I have to work on myself to detach and let her have her life. She's 23, almost 24 years old. She's grown now. But back then, I had to make a decision. Did I want a nanny raising my daughter, or did I want to raise my daughter?
Same.
And for me, there was it was like, I've been fortunate. I was 36 when I had her. So I had all those years. I had a great career. And I figured if that career was meant for me to come back to, it'd be there when I was ready to come back. So that's when I moved back to Chicagoland to raise her near my family, because I wanted her to have a tribe. And I did not want her growing up in a place where she literally came home at 4 from daycare talking about being fat, crying that she was fat. I was like, I'm not raising my daughter to a place where the superficial is so important that they're going to tell a 4-year-old that they're fat when she had the most perfectly proportioned body of any child I'd ever known. I was like, nah. So I brought her back here. Her dad followed, and we still moved a lot. We lived in Singapore. We Indiana, Texas, Chicago, but by the 6th grade, she just stopped. And that's when I wrote my book. When she was in middle school, I wrote a self-help memoir. And that was a beautiful thing. And I have never regretted a moment of not working, steadily, because I was working very steadily. I was very fortunate. It might have been an independent world. It wasn't all on the level of some of the films I did early on, but I had a career. I made a living as an actor.
You worked with some of the best, though. You've worked with some of the best. So independent or not, you got a good resume. Definitely.
Yeah, I was very fortunate. I've worked with some greats, and not just actors, but directors, producers. I've had, I had a very full career. I'll never quit. I'll never stop doing the stuff I love, which is sing. But now I'm more into the writing side. When I left LA, I came to Chicago. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be. I thought by now Chicago's got to have changed, and no, it was different. Yeah, there were people that look like me. There are people that look like me, but I wasn't in anybody's clique. I left Chicago before that world began. I left Chicago when I was a freshman in high school. So I didn't have the buddies from, I was supposed to go to Julian, Julian, whatever it's called. I was supposed to go there, and I ended up leaving before that happened, and all my childhood friends either moved away or whatever. So I didn't have the network in Chicago. So I thought I'd be able to get an agent, start working, and it just didn't happen that way. So I started, I did a few things. I have done a few things here, but I started writing, and then I had someone that hired me. I was writing for someone for so little, but I was writing, and that started to give me samples. And then I started getting my stuff out there, and I still haven't gotten anything produced that I've written, but I've written a good 15 projects that are being pitched right now.
What are you waiting on?
I'm not waiting on anything. It's the business that's the issue. You know, we had COVID. You know, I was right on the verge of getting a couple of things produced right when COVID happened, and then everything blew up with that. Because a few of the projects that I've written are very big budget projects, and they just weren't willing to give money for Black productions like that.
Cynda, whenever they come about, I would love to audition for any one of those projects.
Okay. All right. Well, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there. We'll just see what breaks first, you know, and right now I'm still writing for other people. I didn't have much time to write for myself, but this year I met this guy, a comedian / filmmaker that was like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I told him what I was doing. He was like, "Have you produced anything yet?" I was like, "No." And he's like, "Let's do it." I'm like, huh? He's like, "I got everything. I got all the film equipment. I do the editing." So I'm in the midst of editing my first short that I have written multiple. It's a television series that I want to do. So that's exciting to see someone acting out the things that I write finally.
Your thoughts.
Yeah, it's awesome and it's funny. And we just got to finish the edit, and we're really using that first thing. It's kind of like a pitch. It's like a trailer, although it's a whole little, 12-minute thing.
It's your pilot.
It's exactly. And so I got that. And then I have multiple bigger projects that I'm working on. I got involved with something that I can't really speak about at this point, but it's an international project that I just started off as a Chicago point person. And now I'm one of the producers and I'm one of the writers on the movie that they're doing. I'm helping with the music. I actually sang on one of the songs. So I'm busy, and then I do all my little stuff like this. I've got my own live on Instagram. I have a panel show on YouTube with DopelivenTV. I do my little weekly talks, and my sister and I are going to do our own show. So, it's constant. And now I just have me to take care of. So I can do what I want to do. And I miss taking care of my child, and I miss taking care of my parents because they both passed. But I'm so excited to learn how to take care of me. That's where I am.
We went from A to Z, y'all. She told us everything. All right. That never happened. That has never happened.
Yeah. Usually we have on like we had the Wakanda guys on. And they started at Wakanda. They didn't start how they got into the movie or anything. That was so crazy.
One of my gifts is storytelling. Not every actor has that gift.
Yeah.
I tell stories for a living.
And you are gifted at it.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Most definitely. Okay. You've had a life and you still got more. The journey has not ended, no.
I
wanted to say this. Because my close, when we end the show, we normally close out with everybody saying something, and I normally don't get a chance to because they take all the time away. But I wanted to say this, Mo,
we're not gonna do it this
Mo,
time.
Steve, you guys know because we got a lot in common, Cynda, because like you and we were talking before the show, I stopped doing it because I wanted to raise my son. All right, Steve, you know my son well. Mo, you know my son well, and the best thing ever to happen in my life, my blessing, that changed my whole life. My son, he's 30 now, but we still just like this. All right. And he
make him start crying now.
No, hey, Cynda, when I talk about
you start crying.
I do.
Oh, I feel you, baby. I feel you. I'm the same way about my girl, man. There ain't nobody in the world that moves me like that chick.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. Come on, I will break a fucking neck.
Oh, honey.
Right.
You know what? That girl that used to fight in the Chicago streets.
Come on.
That's who I become. Somebody want to mess with my kid.
I understand that. Wow.
Wow, honey. See, I already know, man. Cynda, man, this was a great conversation. This is a great conversation. And I know a lot of the friends that are directors and actors looking right now, they may be reaching out to you to say, hey, look, come on back in, okay?
You know what? I have nothing against it. I will admit that I love working behind the scenes. You know, I have a producer's mind, so I really love putting pieces together, especially in the development phase of things. And I love not having the pressure of learning lines and not singing in front of a bunch of people. Although I am working on a music project, also, I am doing that.
That's what you do. You sing.
What's
up, John?
Yeah, I sing. I so expect something within the year. I'm working on a project with a friend of mine. But I'm not gonna keep talking because y'all got stuff to say. But I do want to say this before I forget. Bree, I've been seeing your messages, and because of the flow of the conversation, I haven't seen anything. It's not too late, girl. Do you whatever that is you want to do? Get out there and do it. That's one of the wonderful things about what we do. There is no expiration date. This is not something I'm ever going to retire from. And when people talk about retirement with a grin on their face, I'm like, ooh.
What's wrong with you, man? Yeah.
Never. Not because I got to work myself to death, because I have fun. But my work is so fun. I love it. I'm passionate about it.
It's
and
not
there
work
is no expiration date.
Yeah.
Make it happen, Bree. Make it happen, girl.
When it's your passion, it is not work. It is a love.
Nope,
it makes you want to go further.
I'll never stop. I will never stop till it doesn't bring me that. If I get to the point one day where, because I do want to write novels. I have some novels in me. And I've thought about retiring to one of these South American or African countries or islands and going and writing me 3 or 4 books part of the year. I've thought about that. You know what I'm saying? Huh?
You ain't got time to write no books right now.
I don't right now. That's for sure. So it really depends on how long I live. You know,
Bree says she thanks you. She's now working with her grandson to write his story.
There you go. That's creative. There are so many ways to create. There's so many ways to create, and by helping him, you're helping yourself, and that's a beautiful thing. Keep on doing it. Okay,
Cynda, you have been a blessing. You have been a true blessing to share your journey. Okay, we look for us to get a chance to sit back and normally we don't get a chance to do that.
Right.
When we sit back and relax and we listen, and everything that you're talking about is something that relates to probably each one of us and our audience as well. So thank you again for coming on the show, hanging out with us. We family now, so you messed up. We family now.
Please have me back, because like I said, I am doing things and I'm always promoting stuff that I'm doing. Please, you guys, come in, support me, follow me.
Oh, for sure.
I'm on all not all the platforms, but most of the platforms. I refuse to do nobody's red note, but I am on TikTok until there's no TikTok. I'm on Instagram. I don't care about nobody. Ain't no meta gonna stop me from getting my stuff out there. I create my algorithm and I use them as much as they use me. So you can find me at Cynda Will on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. I think I'm Cynda Cindy. Look Cynda Williams up on any of the platforms and you'll find me. Please follow me and say hi and become a part of my platform too. I welcome you all.
Well, I definitely will be joining your platform. So look for me as in Stephen Edwards, and actually look for my support group. I have an epilepsy support group on Facebook called Epilepsy Enlightenment, where I teach people about seizure first aid and living with epilepsy.
Well, I would love for you to talk to my niece, because my niece has it. And it's causing major issues for her. She hasn't been able to get her license because of it.
I would love to talk to her, because I developed epilepsy in 1989 at 13. And I truly understand, because it changed my life. So I will please give you my
Yeah.
information. I would love to connect with her. I'm part of the Epilepsy
She family
Foundation
now,
of
bro.
America.
She family
She
now.
was 13 also.
See, and I truly can help with her and her parents because I understand how it can be because I went through it.
Okay. Well, thank you,
Cynda ain't
Stephen.
going nowhere. I ain't gonna let her go nowhere. We locked. Okay, Cynda, if you got anything that you need us to put out here, you know, we can cut in the middle of the show. That's a great commercial, just like this real tea. This real. It is real. Yeah, spell RYL. Okay, it is real. We got a whole bunch of acronyms we can use with the real too, right? We got the real deal. Or it's real tasty. Okay, it's real time. Anyway, we get some of the real tea. All right. Anyway, yes, Cynda, you ever need us, we're here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys, and keep on at it. And let me know when you want me back. I love talking, as you can see. And I don't just talk about my dang on self. As a matter of fact, I get tired of that. So
I mean, you're so awesome.
We had hey, this I told you when I reached out to you last year, I said, you know, we love to celebrate the journey. All right. Even though everybody's journey isn't the best, you know, we go through something to get to something, all right, better.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be acting or anything, but to hear the story of someone reach your level and to understand the things that you went through, the little nuances that you had to go through to get to this point, and you're happy, you know, and that's the most important part. At the end of the journey, we're still happy, you know. So
absolutely, and I would say this to your audience, you know, do not, I said this on one of my posts, do not be fooled by the okie doke. Do not understand that the goal right now is to sow chaos and fear and helplessness. Do not let them do that to you. Stay high. Know that you're going to be taken care of. There is nothing that can stop you. We are all going to be all right. I don't feed into that mess. I don't feed into it. I know we're good. As a matter of fact, we're better. We're better no matter what they do.
What I love is the joy that you still have. And so many people in that entertainment field, they don't have that joy. And that is a blessing to hear from you, to hear it come out your voice. I hear you speak with the joy and the passion.
Well, that's because I lived in that world, but I wasn't of it.
Wow, honey.
Amen.
Amen.
Man, this has been real cool, Cynda. I just know that you're supposed to be here talking to us right now because there's a lot of connections that you just don't know. There's a lot of connections of people like Mark Casey. I mean, everybody from Mark Casey down to, you know, to Maverick Productions. You know, it's
the Brave Films, man. Look, Cynda, I told you to mess up now.
Yeah, you sure have. I mean,
hey, I've been looking for all my soul tribe. If y'all will have me, I'll have you.
Dope Living Tribe, Dope Living Tribe,
Dope Living TV.
Dope Living, it's a lifestyle. You already know. Cynda,
I guess Greg, he probably gonna be tapping you on the shoulder, you know, when we get a chance to get those producers on here again, and you know, get a chance for you know, to connect with them. Network.
You see John Campanile. I forgot.
John's one of them.
He's one of them too, man. He's doing his thing, all right. And he chimed in. That's why he's saying bravo. He's Italian, by the way. Definitely, child. He's got you. I'm telling you, you locked. You done messed up now. I told you to mess up.
Right. I really appreciate you guys for having me.
For networking, you definitely got to be around Cynda for the 1,000th show celebration.
I was gonna tell her that. We got the 1,000th show coming up. Probably it's gonna be around the summer. I don't know where it's gonna be at yet, but you gotta come. Yeah.
Just do me a favor and let me know ahead of time so I can put it in my book and block it out. And I actually sent you my email address and stuff, so you can reach me directly. You don't have to go through Messenger. You can reach me directly.
So you would you have any, you know, like every once in a blue moon come on, like we got your industry stuff coming on. We have a DAG, the Distinguished Darkless Guild for Black Authors. She's not with us tonight, but sometimes she gets on here, she gets on DAG, and you know, if you look up DAG on YouTube, you can see the show like from last year, the year before. I think it's the 5th year, right, Greg? Last year was it?
This year.
5th year. So, I mean, it's something that's been ongoing and it's been growing and growing and growing. You can check that out. Since you're writing books now, you know, you got a chance to get into that and you know, participate.
You done messed up now. You done messed up now.
Well, thank you. You know, I really appreciate it. And hi, John. Thank you so much. And I look forward to communicating with you. Thank you guys for everything. You guys be blessed. Be blessed.
Appreciate you. Thank you for coming on the show. Steve, appreciate you sitting in, man, hanging out with us, man. We're going to talk real soon, all right? Everybody,
I look forward to it.
Most definitely. Cynda Williams, again, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, it's DopelivenTV Live, man. We will see you guys tomorrow. We're going to be doing something. I don't know what it is yet, but we're going to be doing something. All right, Steve, hang on, man, before you go. All right.
Peace.
All right. Peace. I'm going to do it in a second. I got it.